Welcome. It's nice to see you again. Please have a seat. So how's your week been? Okay. So today we'll be administering the Myers-Briggs type indicator, and we can talk about what your results mean, and hopefully you gain a little bit more of an insight into yourself. Are you familiar with the MBTI? It's based on a theory of personality that was developed by Carl Jung, and his belief was that there are differences in behaviors between everyone. Normal differences, those are based on innate preferences that we have for using our minds in different ways. So Jung said that there are two main ways that our mind is working, and it's you're using one or the other. You can't do both at the same time. So you're either perceiving, which is where you're just taking in information, or on the opposite end, you're judging, but it's not meant in a negative way. Neither ways of functioning is wrong or incorrect. They're just two different ends to a spectrum. So judging is organizing the information and coming to conclusions based on what you're taking in. And then he said that there are two opposite ways that people perceive. So you're either sensing or you're using your intuition. And then there are two opposite ways that people judge. So you either are thinking or you're feeling. And then your energy will be oriented in a particular way. So if you have a preference for extroversion, you direct that energy outwards, and you're energized more by the external world, people, experiences, activity. Or if your energy is, you have a preference for introversion, then you like to direct your energy inwards, and you're energized more by the internal world. So ideas, memories, and emotions. There's 8 overall mental functions, and Jung said that they're available to everyone. It's just that there's a natural preference. We will prefer to use different functions in different ways, or we have kind of a hierarchy. So there's a dominant function, which is your most preferred, then your auxiliary function, then your tertiary function, and then the least preferred function would be your inferior function. And now with preference, again, there is not a wrong way or a right way of preferring or utilizing these functions. It's similar to the preference you might have for writing. Your dominant hand. For example, I'm right-handed, so I prefer to write with my right hand. It just feels the most natural, it's the most easy. I can write with my left hand, but it feels so awkward. It's so hard. It does not feel natural. So that's like a way to think about your preferences for using these mental functions. You're going to be more skilled with certain ones, and over time you develop a pattern of behavior based on your preference for these different types. So with this instrument, the Myers-Briggs type indicator, it was developed by Catherine Briggs and Isabel Briggs Myers based on these Jungian principles. So you will answer these questions as accurately as you can. From there, I will be able to assess your preferences. It'll give you a score composed of 4 letters that will indicate where you fall on that scale. So it'll tell us where you prefer to focus your attention and where you receive your energy. So introversion or extroversion. The way that you prefer to take in information, so sensing or intuition. The way you prefer to make decisions, thinking or feeling, and how you orient yourself to the external world with a judging process or with a perceiving process. And again, there is no right or wrong answer. This is just going to tell us how you prefer to see things. Here is the form. You'll want to make sure you fill in your name and for each part, respond to the corresponding question. And your results are completely confidential. So there's the form. Here's the booklet. And I will let you I'll let you use the desk to respond. So I reviewed your answers and was able to come up with your MBTI. So you scored as an INFP when measuring extroversion and introversion. You scored 5 for extroversion and 16 for introversion. For sensing to intuition, you scored 6 for sensing, 20 for intuition. For thinking to feeling, you scored 8 for thinking, 16 for feeling, and for judging and perceiving, you scored 10 for judging and 12 for perceiving. So what your results tell us is, firstly, that you prefer to focus your energy inwards. You scored as an introvert. So people who prefer introversion like to focus on their inner world of ideas and experiences. They direct their energy and their attention inwards, and they receive energy from reflecting on their thoughts, memories, feelings. Some characteristics associated with people who prefer introversion: drawn to the inner world, preferring to communicate in writing, working out ideas by reflecting on them, learning best by reflection, focusing in depth on their interests, being private and contained, taking initiative when the situation or issue is very important to them. How do you prefer to take in information? Your scores indicated a preference for using intuition. People who prefer intuition like to take in information by seeing the big picture, focusing on the relationships and connections between facts. They want to grasp patterns and are especially attuned to seeing new possibilities. Some characteristics associated with people who prefer intuition is being oriented to future possibilities, imaginative and verbally creative, focusing on the patterns and meanings in data, remembering specifics when they relate to a pattern, moving quickly to conclusions, following hunches, wanting to clarify ideas and theories before putting them into practice, and trusting their inspiration. Now for the thinking, feeling dichotomy. How do you make decisions? You have a preference for using your feeling. People who prefer to use feeling in decision making like to consider what is important to them and to others involved. They mentally place themselves into the situation to identify with everyone so they can make decisions based on their values about honoring people. They are energized by appreciating and supporting others and look for qualities to praise. Their goal is to create harmony and treat each person as a unique individual. Some characteristics associated with people who prefer feeling: they're empathetic, guided by personal values, assess impacts of decisions on people, strive for harmony and positive interactions, compassionate, they may appear tender-hearted, they're fair, they want everyone treated as an individual. And lastly, how do you deal with the outer world? Your scores indicate a preference for perceiving. People who prefer to use their perceiving process in the outer world like to live in a flexible, spontaneous way, seeking to experience and understand life rather than control it. Detailed plans and final decisions feel confining to them. They prefer to stay open to new information and last-minute options. They are energized by their resourcefulness and adapting to the demands of the moment. Some characteristics associated with people who prefer perceiving are that they're spontaneous, flexible, casual, open-ended. They can adapt and change course. They like things loose and open to change, and they feel energized by last-minute pressures. So what do you think about the results? You feel like it's pretty accurate? Okay, tell me some more about your insights. Yeah, it's amazing how much difference that can make. I think that we'll end the session here. Yes. If you'd like to schedule the next one, you can call me. That's fine. Alright, take care.